First, schedule your life around it, not the other way around. If you have classes, meetings, or deadlines, mark your prayer times first. Treat them as you would an appointment with the most important person in your life, because that is exactly what it is. Second, prepare in advance. If you know Maghrib will come while you're out, plan where you will pray. If Dhuhr comes during work hours, organize your break so you can pray without rushing. The more intentional you are, the less room there is for excuses. Third, protect the quality of your salah, not just the timing. Pray with focus, pray with presence. Don't let it become a mindless routine. Remember, you are not just reciting words. You are speaking to Allah and He is listening to you. And if you ever miss a prayer, don't let shaitan convince you to give up for the day. Pray as soon as you remember. Make it up. Ask Allah to forgive you. Show Him that you care enough to return to Him immediately. Also understand this. Salah is the first thing we will be asked about on the Day of Judgment. If it is sound, everything else will be sound. If it is lacking, everything else will be lacking. No amount of wealth, success, or worldly achievement will save us if we neglected the very act that connects us to Allah. The story of Salah itself tells you its value. It was not revealed to the Prophet, peace be upon him, on earth like other obligations. It was given to him during the miraculous journey of Isra and Mi'raj, when Allah brought him above the 7 heavens into His presence to gift it to him directly. That is the honor of Salah. And every time you stand to pray, you are accepting that same invitation. My brothers and sisters, in a world that will never slow down for you, let Salah be the pause that resets your heart. Let it be the safe space where the noise fades away, where you remember who you are and why you are here. Because at the end of your life, when all the busyness ends, the value of your days will be measured not by how many tasks you completed, but by how many times you stood sincerely before Allah. So make a promise to yourself today. Salah will no longer be an afterthought. It will be the anchor around which my day revolves. Whether the world is calm or chaotic, whether life is easy or difficult, I will not compromise on my prayers, because they are not just obligations, they are my lifeline to the one who controls everything. I want you to think about something. If a friend or colleague asks you to meet them for just 5 minutes in a day, you would likely make the effort out of respect, out of friendship, out of importance. So, how is it that when the Lord of the worlds, the one who gave us our health, our time, our very heartbeat, calls us to meet Him 5 times a day, we treat it as if it's optional? Salah is not just an act of worship, it is a sign of loyalty. It's your way of saying, Ya Allah, no matter what is happening around me, You are my priority. When we keep answering that call consistently, it strengthens our relationship with Him. And like any relationship, if you neglect it, it will weaken. Some people say, I'm too busy, I'll pray later. But the reality is, we are not too busy to pray, we are too distracted to see its value. The busiest man in history, our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who was leading a nation, receiving revelation, guiding the people, resolving disputes, caring for his family, and preparing for battles, never delayed his salah. He prayed on time, every time. And if he could, with the weight of the ummah on his shoulders, so can we. And salah is more than just protection for the hereafter. It is protection in this life. The Qur'an tells us, indeed, prayer keeps one from immorality and wrongdoing. If you want a cleaner heart, a calmer mind, and better self-control, protect your prayer. It will protect you in ways you can't even see. When you miss a prayer without a valid reason, it's not just 5 minutes lost, it's a crack in your shield. And in this world full of temptations and whispers from shaitan, you can't afford to let your shield weaken. Some of us treat prayer like a spare tire. We only take it out when we're in trouble. But prayer is meant to be like the steering wheel. It guides the direction of your entire life. Without it, you may keep moving, but you will not be going where you need to go. And here's something beautiful. Salah doesn't just keep you connected to Allah. It keeps you connected to yourself. It's in those quiet moments of sujood, when your forehead touches the ground, that you find clarity about what really matters. You remember that you are a servant of Allah first, and everything else, your work, your studies, your relationships is secondary. So my brothers and sisters, in this life that will always demand more of you, choose to pause. Choose to answer the call. Choose to stand before the one who can give you more peace in 5 minutes of salah than the world can give you in 5 years of chasing it. Because the day will come when you will not be able to stand and pray anymore. Your health will fade, your strength will weaken, and your time will run out. Pray while you can, and pray in a way that you will be grateful for when you stand before Allah on the day, when prayers are the first thing you will be questioned about. One day, each of us will pray our final prayer. It might be a Fajr we don't know is our last, or a Maghrib before we return to Allah. None of us have a calendar marking that day. And when that prayer is offered, it will be written in our record, and there will be no more chances to make it better. No more opportunities to pray on time. No more moments to focus in sujood. If that is true, and it is, then why would we not treat every salah as if it could be our last? Imagine the difference it would make if you stood in prayer with that awareness. Your concentration would change. Your humility would deepen. You wouldn't rush through the words because you'd know this might be the last time you get to say them. And here's the reality. Salah is the one act of worship that no circumstance can completely excuse, except in the most extreme cases. You can be sick, lying down, even praying with your eyes if you cannot move, but salah remains. That should tell us something about how critical it is. It's not an optional extra. It's the heartbeat of a believer's day. We must also remember that the discipline of prayer builds discipline in everything else. When you train yourself to pause at fixed times, no matter what is happening, to turn to Allah, you train your soul to put the important before the urgent. The dunya is always urgent emails, calls, messages, but salah is important. And on the day of judgment, only the important will matter. And for those who say, I struggle with focus, remember this. Even a distracted prayer is better than no prayer at all. Start where you are. Strive to improve. Ask Allah before every salah, Oh Allah, help me to focus. Help me to pray as if I can see you. Slowly, your heart will learn to settle and the sweetness will come. One more thing, my brothers and sisters, teach your family to value salah, not just perform it. If you have children, let them see that you stop everything when the time for prayer comes. Let them grow up knowing that salah is not something squeezed in between other things. It is the thing around which the rest of life revolves. Because when you build that habit, it doesn't just save your own faith, it passes down to the next generation. And that in itself is a form of ongoing charity. So protect your prayer, guard it, honor it. Don't let the busyness of life convince you that anything is more important than standing before Allah, because in truth nothing is. And if you keep that connection alive 5 times a day, every day, then no matter how noisy, rushed, or chaotic your life becomes, your heart will remain close to the one who matters most. Lesson 5. Feed your heart with the Qur'an daily. My beloved brothers and sisters, your body needs food to survive, but your heart and soul also have their own food, and that food is the Qur'an. Without it, your heart will weaken. You might still be alive physically, still going through the motions of life, but spiritually, you will be running on empty. The Qur'an is not just a book of guidance, it is Allah speaking to you. Every verse is a personal message from the one who created you, knows you better than you know yourself, and understands every joy, every pain, every question in your heart. Now here's the challenge in our busy lives. The Qur'an often becomes something we intend to connect with later. We say, in Ramadan I'll read more, on the weekend I'll catch up, when I have more time I'll start again. But the truth is that later often never comes. And the longer we stay away from the Qur'an, the more disconnected we feel from Allah, and the more empty life feels. Think of it this way. If you were stranded in a foreign country and someone gave you a detailed map and guide to get you home safely, would you put it in a drawer and say, I'll look at it when I'm less busy? Of course not. You would keep it close, read it constantly, and follow it step by step. That is exactly what the Qur'an is, a map for our journey through life to our home in Jannah. But here's the good news. You don't need hours every day to benefit from the Qur'an. Even 5 minutes can transform your heart if you approach it with sincerity. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, told us that the one who reads even a single letter from the Qur'an gets 10 rewards. Imagine the scale of that reward if you read a few verses every day for the rest of your life. And my brothers and sisters, don't just read the Qur'an, connect with it. Read slowly, reflect on the meaning, think about how the verse applies to your life today. The Qur'an is not a storybook from the past. It is a living guidance for every moment of your present. When Allah talks about patience, think about the challenges you are facing right now. When He talks about gratitude, think of the blessings around you. If reading in Arabic is difficult for you, don't let that stop you. Read a translation in your own language alongside it. Listen to recitations while you commute or do chores. The Qur'an is meant to be accessible to every believer, not locked away behind formality. Here's a practical tip. Link your Qur'an time to something you already do daily. For example, after Fajr, read for 10 minutes before starting your day. Or before going to bed, replace scrolling through your phone with a few pages of Qur'an. This makes it easier to be consistent, and consistency is the real secret. A little every day is far better than a lot once in a while. And remember, the Qur'an is also a healer. Allah tells us it is a cure for what is in the hearts. Many of us are carrying invisible wounds, stress, anxiety, sadness, guilt. The Qur'an soothes those wounds in a way nothing else can. Have you ever noticed how sometimes you open the Qur'an at random and find a verse that speaks directly to your situation? That is not an accident, that is Allah speaking to you. The more you engage with the Qur'an, the more you will start to see life through its lens. You will make decisions differently. You will view trials as opportunities, not punishments. You will see blessings where before you only saw problems. This is the power of letting Allah's words shape your mind and heart. And in your busiest days, the Qur'an can be your sanctuary. It can be the calm in the middle of the storm, the reminder that this dunya is temporary and that your true purpose is to worship Allah and seek His pleasure. So my brothers and sisters, just as you would not starve your body, do not starve your heart. Feed it every single day with the words of Allah, even if it's just a verse. Because one verse can be the difference between a day lived in distraction and a day lived in remembrance. And a life built on the Qur'an is a life that will lead you safely to Allah, no matter how busy the journey gets. One of the biggest mistakes we make is thinking that the Qur'an is only for moments of ritual, for Ramadan, for Taraweeh, for special occasions. But the reality is, the Qur'an was revealed to be a constant companion in our everyday life. The early Muslims didn't keep it on a shelf to be opened once a year. They lived by it daily. They treated its guidance as urgently as we would treat directions in a storm. We have to change our mindset from I'll read when I have time to I'll make time to read. Because the truth is, the Qur'an doesn't take your time, it gives you clarity. And that clarity saves you time. How many hours have we wasted making wrong decisions, stressing over things we can't control, and chasing goals that don't bring peace? The Qur'an can guide you away from those traps before you even fall into them. And here's something to reflect on. When you neglect the Qur'an, you are neglecting a direct line of communication from Allah to you. Think about it. We all long for guidance, answers, comfort. We say, I wish I knew what Allah wanted me to do in this situation. But how can we know if we're not opening the very words where He has already told us? In fact, the Qur'an is not just guidance, it's also a measure of how connected we truly are to Allah. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, warned that on the day of judgment, one of the complaints he will make is, my people have abandoned this Qur'an. Abandonment doesn't only mean never touching it. It can also mean reading without reflection, without acting upon it, without letting it transform our lives. So ask yourself today, What would your relationship with the Qur'an say about your priorities? If someone looked at your week, would they see time for everything else, work, entertainment, social media, but no consistent time for Allah's book? If so, this is your reminder to change that. Start small, but start today. Even if you commit to one verse a day, do it with focus, with the intention to understand and act upon it. Allah loves consistency even in small amounts. And over time, that one verse will become two, then a page, then a surah, until the Qur'an becomes a natural part of your daily rhythm. And here's the most beautiful part. The more you read the Qur'an, the more the Qur'an will read you. You will begin to see yourself in its verses. You will feel as if Allah is speaking directly to your situation. You will notice your heart softening in ways you can't explain. You will find yourself making choices differently, treating people differently, even thinking differently, because the Qur'an has taken root in your heart. My brothers and sisters, we live in an age where information comes from everywhere. News, social media, opinions from every angle. But there is only one source that is pure truth, never outdated, never wrong, and never harmful: the Qur'an. If you let it be the filter through which you see the world, you will never be lost, no matter how loud the noise of life becomes. So don't let a day go by without opening it, reading it, listening to it, reflecting upon it. Feed your heart with its words until those words become part of who you are. Because in the end, the Qur'an will be either a witness for you or against you on the day of judgment, and you want it to stand as your strongest ally when you stand before Allah. And my beloved brothers and sisters, let me tell you something. You may not have thought about your relationship with the Qur'an today is shaping your relationship with it in the grave and in the hereafter. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, told us that when a person is placed in their grave, the Qur'an will come to them as a companion, a light, a protector. Imagine being alone in that dark place with no family, no friends, no phone, no comfort from the dunya. And then the very words you recited in life come to stand by you, to defend you, to keep you company. But if we neglected it in this life, how can we expect it to stand for us in that moment? This is why the scholars used to say, if you want to know how close you are to Allah, look at how close you are to His book. Because the Qur'an is not separate from Him, it is His speech. If you turn away from it, you are in a sense turning away from Him. And if you draw near to it, you are drawing near to Him. In our busy lives, one of the tricks of shaitan is to make us feel that connecting to the Qur'an is a big task. Something that requires long hours, perfect silence, perfect concentration. And while those moments are beautiful, they are not the only way to engage with the Qur'an. The truth is, you can weave it into your life in small but powerful ways. A verse after each prayer, a page before bed, a surah in the morning commute, listening while you cook, reflecting on one ayah as you walk. It's not about waiting for the perfect time. It's about making the time you have perfect by filling it with the Qur'an. And remember, my brothers and sisters, the Qur'an is not here to decorate our shelves. It's here to decorate our hearts. If the only time we touch it is to wipe off the dust before Ramadan, then we've missed its entire purpose. Let the Qur'an be your anchor in the storm. When life is overwhelming, go back to its words. When you are joyful, go back to its words. When you are lost, go back to its words. And when you don't even know what you're feeling, still go back to its words, because sometimes Allah will tell you what's in your heart before you've even realized it yourself. And here's the final point. The Qur'an is a trust. It was carried by the Prophet, peace be upon him, and delivered to us through generations of believers who sacrificed their lives to preserve it. When you open it, you are holding in your hands the same words that changed the course of human history. Treat it with that honor. Live by it so that when you meet Allah, you can say, Ya Allah, I did my best to live according to the book you sent. Because on that day, when the dunya is gone, your status will not be measured by how busy you were, how much you earned, or how many people knew your name. It will be measured by how much you lived by His words. Lesson 6. Choose righteous company. My beloved brothers and sisters, You can have the best intentions in the world, the strongest goals, and the clearest plans to stay close to Allah, but if the people around you pull you in the opposite direction, it will feel like trying to swim upstream while everyone else is pushing you back. The truth is, we are shaped more than we realize by the company we keep. Our friends, colleagues, and social circles influence how we think, what we talk about, and even what we find normal. You can tell yourself, I won't be affected. But the reality is, human beings are social creatures. We absorb from those around us, whether we intend to or not. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, gave us a powerful example. He said that a good companion is like a seller of musk. Even if you don't buy anything from him, you'll still enjoy the fragrance. And a bad companion is like a blacksmith. Even if he doesn't burn you, you'll still leave with the smell of smoke on your clothes. Now think about your own life. Who do you spend the most time with? Do they remind you of Allah? Do they encourage you to pray? Do they bring you closer to your values, or do they make you feel embarrassed to live by them? If your closest circle normalizes skipping Salah, speaking negatively, or indulging in sin, it will slowly start to feel less serious to you. And that's the danger, not one big fall, but a slow, quiet drift away from Allah. On the other hand, righteous company can transform your faith. Being around people who love Allah makes it easier to remember Him. They remind you to pray, they speak about beneficial things, they share reminders, and their very presence inspires you to be better. Sometimes it's not even about what they say, just seeing their dedication can light something in your heart. But I know what some of you are thinking. I don't have many religious friends. My brothers and sisters, you don't need a crowd. Even one sincere friend